takes us to be very depressed just because we live in a society where we compete, compare, and complain all the time. We are not ourselves. This is the point. If you look into your own lives, we're cheating ourselves all the time, either trying to live somebody's life or we're trying to compare with someone and compete with someone. And that's the point where we focus outside of us, not within us. And the whole idea of happiness is when you realize that happiness is inside of you, within you, then nothing matters. Because then you begin to relate yourself with the true self of your own self. How many of you would have stood in front of a mirror and pointed at that reflection saying, who are you? You are a special creation of the universe, so special. You have a goal, you have a mission in life, and I know you can do it. How many of you would have done that? Very hardly anybody. So if you look into the relationship, I have a very simple formula. I say love is the foundation of human happiness, on which stands 4 pillars, and then I have abbreviated that into RICH, R-I-C-H. R stands for relationship. When you know you are related with the environment around you, not only with your families, then you tend to get into a state of mind which in Buddhism we call non-self or non-dualistic self. Which means that we are not what we think we are. We are the water, we are the food that we've been eating. Now if you imagine right from childhood, from mother's womb till we have grown to this height and size, it's all out of the food. The food has all the contents of the planet Earth, the sun, the moon, the rain, everything that you can think of. And that has made us grow up. So now quantum physics even proves that 91% of frog genes are in us. 90% of chimpanzee genes are in us. 2/3 of your body is water, right? So what is alive? If water was dead, we would all be dying, isn't it? Water is not just a combination of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, part of oxygen. It's alive and it has memories. So everything out there in the nature is alive actually. That's why we are alive, we are growing. 71% of banana genes are in us. So when you see a depressed child or human being, if you bring them to the water way, to the rivers, to the ocean side, or to the nature greenery, there's a calming effect immediately, simply because our organisms connect with them. And then they bring a calming effect. But then look at us, our relationship with all this we don't think of. How many of us while sit to eat think that, where does this food come from? The hard works of the farmer, have we ever thanked them? We just think, it's my right, I bought it and I'm going to eat this. But the moment you're going to connect with a farmer who has worked hard, appreciating and thanking the sun, the water, the moon, everybody, the earth itself that helped us bring that food onto our table, people involved all there until the one who has cooked and served us. Then we are relating ourselves with the greatness. So I'm not talking about relationship between human beings and families alone. I'm going beyond. So this relationship, actually, once we understand this completely, it's one of the areas that it's a research that has been proven, in fact, in US, that when you are non-dualistic in your mind, when your state of mind is non-dualistic, you automatically score 10 out of 10. You're always happy, because nothing matters after that. You realize that you are not who you think you are. You are the water, you are the other elements of the planet. You are me, in other words. If you consist of 2/3 of your body in water, then you are not different from me. And then quantum physics talks about that only 0.1% of what we consist of actually belongs to our genetic cells. The rest belongs to the nature. So how much are we connected with nature? So relationship matters a lot. And the I stands for integrity. How much are we integrated with ourselves? Forget about, like I just started by saying, that we cheat ourselves all the time. We're not integrated in that sense. So therefore, we don't tend to realize what potentials we have within us. And I just want you to take this exercise back home and do it. What you need to do is close your eyes, sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and think you are celebrating 80 years of your birthday. Or there's a lot of ways to do it, but this is what I find very interesting. And just, say to yourself, I have my children, grandchildren, my community all around me. There's also a letter from the head of the state or the government or the country. And they're, celebrating the wishes start to flow onto you. What is that you really want to hear? What would that be? Is it just happy birthday, Grandpa, Stefan, Grandpa, happy birthday? Or is it something more than that, happy birthday, Grandma, or something more? That's the potential you need to try and find from within you. And we still have time to reach there. And I'm sure every one of us can find that very thing. What is that wish you want to hear? Should be your journey of your life. C stands for compassion. And I think I just relate what Sanaji actually mentioned there about stopping and starting. She talked about care and giving. So compassion is something that we all need to first nourish ourselves with. Because if you're not self-compassionate, then you cannot be knowing anything about others. To know yourself, you have to have self-compassion. That's so very important. And like I started with the relationship, if you don't know how you are related with each elements on this planet, each people on this planet, then you're not going to understand yourself, which means you'll never be self-compassionate to yourself. In other words, when you're compassionate to water, you feel, that you, like, a lot of research done on water. Water is alive. So if you pray to the water before you drink, you're being compassionate to yourself, because that's entering you, that's nourishing you. Okay? So if you are compassionate to all the elements around you, including your people around us, then we are compassionate to ourselves. So that's very important. We need to develop self-compassion, and if we have self-compassion with us, we don't need to bother about self-esteem. Because self-esteem can take you to very high level, and you can either be there, you can't grow higher than that, or you fall back. You'll always be depressed. But with self-compassion, you can achieve everything in life. Humanity, H stands for humanity, and that's to take care of ourselves and others, to share and care. And that's where I would like to connect with Sanaji. I was flying to UK 2 years ago, and 3 years ago, sorry. I had the opportunity to speak at House of Commons, and as we boarded the flight, the first general announcement that came was, if you donate £1, you're going to feed a very hungry and cold child in remote England. And I didn't believe what I heard, because England at one point of time has had so big an empire that the sun never set. In other words, they took so much wealth to their country, and today they're begging. That was the first thought that came to me. Then I compared the wealth of England with the wealth of my country, and I felt we are not even 100,000th part of their wealth. Then I felt so rich. I said, wow, we don't have a hungry and cold child in Bhutan, And I felt very rich suddenly, because we are not rich people, but we care for one another. If we see a hungry and a cold child lying in the street, the first responsibility that I assign to myself is that that child belongs to me, because we are not different from one another. I take care of that child until I find a solution, a general solution for the child. So as you grow richer in a nation, I'm not saying in people, you tend to become more greedy. You don't want to share, because you feel, if I shared, I'll lose. But the truth is, the more you give to the universe, the more you get back. Because out there's plenty of it. And so therefore, we have to learn to create a win-win situation rather than a win-lose situation or a lose-win situation. And that we can do by being working on this foundation as the love, reach as the four pillars. And when you have this, the trust automatically becomes the roof of your life, and you are complete by itself. Having said that, I think I'll not talk much. Maybe you have a lot of questions. That might be a better way to interact, sorry, not react, that's a wrong word, interact. I will sing a happiness song for you, but you'll have to join me. So I'll sing one line and you just, follow me. And then we break into question answer. Is that all right? I don't think I should keep on talking. So the song is very simple, and this should be the mantra of every human being. You know, the mantra of every human being to be happy. But I'm sure Sanaji will tell you later how we should not completely follow it by the word, but you can always be calm, you can always be yourself, and yet achieve heights in your life. So the song is very simple. I'll just begin. Happiness is here and now.
Happiness is here and now.
I have dropped my worries.
I have dropped my worries.
Nowhere to go, nothing to do.
Nowhere to go, nothing to do.
And I'm not in a hurry.
And I'm not in a hurry.
Happiness is here and now.
Happiness is here and now.
I have dropped my worries.
I have dropped my worries.
Somewhere to go, something to do.
Somewhere to go, something to do.
But I'm not in a hurry.
But I'm not in a hurry.
Let's do one thing. Each table, why don't you hold your hands and stand up, and we kind of swing together.